They laughed first. German officers scoffed at the idea that American forces, dismissed as inexperienced and industrially clumsy, could outthink the Reich's engineers. They believed their weapons were untouchable, their rockets unstoppable, their science supreme. That arrogance died the moment American radar turned the sky itself into a trap and rewrote the rules of modern warfare forever. The SCR-584 was not born from desperation or imitation. It emerged from confidence, from a nation that believed problems existed to be solved, not feared. While Germany chased terror through brute force, America pursued control through precision. This was not guesswork. This was preparation weaponized, mathematics fused with steel, electrons bent to national purpose. At first, the enemy barely noticed. V-1 flying bombs screamed toward London, symbols of supposed inevitability. German commanders believed speed was protection, chaos was advantage. They assumed no human system could react fast enough. They were wrong. American engineers had already anticipated the problem and built a machine that could see, think, and respond faster than any crew ever could. The SCR-584 radar did not merely detect targets. It tracked them with ruthless accuracy, locking onto motion with a discipline that mirrored American doctrine itself. Once engaged, it fed real-time data directly to anti-aircraft guns. Human hesitation vanished. Mechanical certainty took over. And suddenly, the sky that once favored the attacker became a controlled killing zone. German intelligence reports grew uneasy. Miss rates dropped. Interceptions soared. Rockets that once terrorized cities now disintegrated mid-air. Crews whispered about invisible hands guiding American guns. This was no superstition. It was systems engineering on an industrial scale. The quiet violence of coordination perfected through relentless testing and national resolve. And that was only the beginning, because the SCR-584 was not a lone marvel. It was part of a larger ecosystem, a web of logistics, training, and production that Germany could neither replicate nor disrupt. Every radar shipped overseas arrived with spare parts, manuals, trained crews, and doctrinal clarity. Nothing was improvised. Everything was deliberate. American factories did not pause to admire their work. They multiplied it. Radar sets rolled off lines with the same confidence as tanks and bombers. While Germany rationed materials and protected secrets, the United States flooded battlefields with capability. Quantity became quality. Reliability became inevitability. The enemy could destroy one system, but 10 more would replace it. If you're proud of this American legacy, let us know in the comments. Because this was not luck. This was a national mindset that refused to separate science from strategy. Universities, private industry, and the military moved as one organism. The SCR-584 represented a country that understood war as a problem of organization, not desperation. German commanders attempted countermeasures. They adjusted flight paths, altitudes, timings. Each adaptation was met with recalibration. American radar crews learned faster than German planners could react. The feedback loop favored the prepared. Every failed V-1 was a data point. Every interception refined the system. Learning itself became a weapon. But the most world-shaking revelation was still to come. The SCR-584 did more than defend cities. It changed how wars would be fought. Automated tracking, predictive targeting, integrated fire control. These were glimpses of the future, unveiled not in laboratories but under combat pressure. America was not reacting to modern war. It was defining it. German engineers understood too late what they were facing. Their approach prized brilliance in isolation. America prized coordination at scale. A single genius could not compete with thousands of disciplined engineers sharing information freely. The radar's true power was not its circuitry, but the system that sustained it across oceans and armies. Even under fire, American crews trusted the machine. Training had forged confidence. Procedures replaced panic. When alarms sounded, responses were automatic, precise, unemotional. The radar spoke, the guns answered, and the target vanished. This calm efficiency terrified an enemy accustomed to fear as a weapon. Fear no longer worked. Subscribe if you believe American ingenuity has no equal, because this moment proved that democracy could outproduce tyranny and openness could outperform secrecy. The SCR-584 was built in the open, improved through collaboration, and deployed with transparency of purpose. Dictators could not comprehend this strength, let alone counter it. As interception rates climbed, German morale cracked. The V-1 had been a psychological weapon. Its failure echoed louder than any explosion. Cities held, civilians endured. The myth of unstoppable German technology collapsed. What remained was the realization that America had mastered not just weapons, but processes. Behind every radar sweep stood logistics officers, transport crews, instructors, technicians. This was superiority as a system. Fuel arrived on time. Replacement tubes were stocked. Crews rotated without loss of skill. No dramatic speeches were required. The machine kept working because the nation behind it never stopped moving. And that was only the beginning. Lessons from the SCR-584 fed directly into post-war doctrine. Missile defense, aerospace tracking, automated command systems, all trace lineage to this battlefield triumph. America did not shelve its success. It studied it, scaled it, and prepared to use it again if history demanded. German archives later admitted the shock. Reports described the radar as unexpectedly effective, a phrase masking disbelief. They had underestimated American science because they misunderstood American culture. They saw excess where there was redundancy, noise where there was collaboration. The SCR-584 shattered those illusions permanently. Every victory reinforced confidence back home. Workers knew their labor mattered. Engineers saw theory become survival. Soldiers trusted the tools they were given. This feedback loop of morale and performance was unstoppable. War became not a gamble, but an execution of national will through engineered certainty. What stunned the enemy even more was the speed of adaptation. When conditions changed, American doctrine changed with them. Radar frequencies were adjusted, logic refined, crew coordination tightened. Nothing remained static. The SCR-584 was treated as a living system, constantly evolving under pressure, always one step ahead of those trying to defeat it. This adaptability exposed a fatal weakness in authoritarian war-making. German command structures resisted change, fearing loss of control. America encouraged initiative within structure. Radar operators reported improvements. Engineers listened. Updates flowed back to factories and returned to the front improved. Innovation outran enemy decision cycles. If you understand how rare that kind of flexibility is in war, share this story. Because the SCR-584 was not merely a defensive shield. It was proof that American command philosophy created unstoppable momentum. Each success generated data. Each data point sharpened the blade, and each iteration widened the gap no rival could close. The enemy thought they had seen it all, until radar-guided guns erased entire attacks from the sky. No heroics required, no desperation. Just preparation meeting opportunity. This was warfare stripped of myth and reduced to performance. And performance at scale favored the United States every time. As the war closed, American planners looked forward, not backward. The SCR-584 was a foundation, not a finale. Its principles would guide early warning networks, air defense commands, and eventually space surveillance. Victory did not end innovation. It accelerated it. German defeat was not just military, it was philosophical. They lost to a nation that trusted systems over symbols, logistics over rhetoric, and collaboration over fear. The SCR-584 stands as proof that American strength lies not in reacting harder, but in preparing smarter. What followed reshaped how allies viewed American leadership. British crews, once skeptical, demanded integration with the SCR-584 wherever possible. They watched interception rates climb night after night and understood they were witnessing something unprecedented. Trust replaced doubt. Coordination replaced rivalry. American systems became the backbone of collective survival. This dominance forced the enemy into costly improvisation. German launches increased, wasting fuel and manpower, yet achieved diminishing returns. Each failed attack drained morale and resources. The SCR-584 turned offense into liability, compelling Germany to fight the machine instead of the war itself. The psychological effect was decisive. Crews slept knowing the sky was guarded by certainty, not hope. Civilians regained confidence. The enemy lost the initiative permanently. Control of the air meant control of time, attention, and momentum, all dictated by American preparation executed with cold precision. Remember this when doubt creeps in. Remember that America shocked the world not by copying its enemies, but by outgrowing them. Radar by radar, factory by factory, calculation by calculation, the United States turned intellect into dominance and dominance into destiny. And that destiny was clear in the skies over Europe, where laughter turned into disbelief, disbelief into panic, and panic into silence. The SCR-584 did not just track targets. It tracked the moment when American superiority became undeniable, irreversible, and forever etched into the history of war.